What's up, everyone? Today we're taking a look at another Grim Dawn build. Right now we're going to be taking a look at the Vileblade Dervish. I don't have my webcam fixed yet, but I do plan to get a new webcam and a green screen real soon here. But until then, I hope you guys can suffice and you enjoy these builds that I release. Anyway, this is Destructible, and you guys have a wonderful day. What's going on, YouTube? Destructible here. Today we're taking a look at the Vileblade Dervish. So this build is going to be very heavily based acid and poison damage, and then a little bit of conversion as well. So we're just going to get right in right now and take a look at the gear choices, skill points, and the devotion points as well, just the celestial powers that we went with. So first we got the Mythical Fist of the Venom Blade right here. This is a one-handed mace, and this is part of the Vileblade pack. The Vileblade pack is a set that's going to be giving you a lot of that pierce, acid, and poison damage. And then it also has a chance to send out these venom spines. A lot of the pieces here have that granted skill that you see up there. And then also there's a 33% chance on critical attack to do an ability that reduces pierce and poison and acid resistance, as well as reduce health regeneration by 70%, and then do a little bit of acid damage. It has a pretty long duration and a very short skill recharge, so the more you're creating, the more you're going to have this Venom Wrath active at all times. Anyway, we went with the weapon, obviously, because of this, and this is going to be giving you some extra points to some Nightblade abilities, Pneumatic Burst, Blade Burst, and then Righteous Fervor for the Oathkeeper. And we've got two Mythical Rings of the Black Matriarch right here, which is giving some physical damage, acid damage, and some trauma damage, and then poison damage, as well as give us some Nadala's Hidden Hand and Righteous Fervor. And there's also a 15% chance on attack to do this, injects the target with the deadly venom, known as the Black Matriarch, that does some poison damage every second for 5 seconds, and then also reduces physical resistance. And we're stacking 2 of these. Then we've got the Mythical Pestilence of Dreg, which is a amulet here that's going to give us some more acid damage, as well as convert. A big reason why I went with this is it's going to convert some of that physical damage over into acid damage. It's also doing a little bit of vitality damage, not a big deal there. Going to give us some offensive ability, some acid retaliation, and then 3 points into Merciless Repertory. I cannot pronounce that correctly. And then also give us +1 to all skills and Oathkeepers, which is going to be a little bit good because we are going to be using some of the Oathkeeper abilities, but not as much as the Nightblades. Next, we've got the Mythical Razor of the Venom Blade, which is the second piece to the Vileblade pack. It's going to increase some of that radius to Armorasta's Blade Burst, and then add some weapon damage to it as well, and then give us some more mastery points, and then a little bit more physical damage conversion into acid damage, just like the mace. Next, we've got the Death Guard Mantle right here. Death Guard Mantle is just going to give us +2 to execution. This is all I had. This could definitely be changed out with something else. If you have something else available for your shoulders, feel free to opt this out for something else. But it is going to give a little bit of acid and poison damage, as well as 2 points into execution, which will help out a little bit. Then we've got Mythical Viper Fang Grips right here. So the Mythical Viper Fang Grips are going to increase that poison damage and then the duration as well. And then it gives you some poison damage to the Aegis of Menhir, which we will not be using. And then that Avenging Shield, which again, we're not using that. But I only took this for the Nadala's Hidden Hand. Again, this is all I had that I had available that I could choose for this set. So this is what I went with. This could also be opted out for something else that you choose. We've got the Mythical Venom Spore Greaves right here. This is going to give some more to Nadala's Justiciable Ends and Hidden Hands, +2 to Retribution, and then that granted skill, which is Venom Spines, which also I don't think I mentioned. Yes, you'll start to notice, not to get off track here real fast, a lot of these pieces right here give you this Venom Spines ability. So 25% chance on attack, 15% chance on attack, and then the feet right here, 25% chance when hit to send out these Venom Spines that do some acid and poison damage, some piercing damage, and then puts a dot for X amount of damage on the target. Anyway, It's giving us all those increases to those skills, and then giving us that Venom Spine's ability. That Venom Spine is basically active at all times from what I'm seeing. We've got the Mythical Mark of the Forbidden right here, which is going to give us some more acid damage, obviously. Some acid damage is going to be added to Righteous Fervor, and then we're going to get some more to Nadala's Justable Ends and some Consecration, as well as that Toxic Gas Cloud ability, which is a 15% chance on attack, has a 3-second skill recharge. It does it's a 6-second duration on a 3-meter radius. It's just a little gas cloud that pops up and does some damage, and then reduces targets. It gives the targets a chance to fumble attacks or have impaired aim. We've got Mythical Murmur's Kiss right here, and this is going to convert fire damage into acid, which is actually pretty good because some of the Oathkeeper's abilities do fire damage. So I felt this was a real good move to go with. And then it's also going to convert Aether damage, which isn't a huge deal, plus give some Lethal Assault and Retribution and acid damage. As well as a 15% chance on attack with a half-second skill recharge to cast Murmur's Kiss, which will passes through enemies, does a 1-meter radius, and just some acid damage. Then we've got Yogol's Hunger right here. This could be opted out for something else. Keep that in mind. Things to note about this, though, is it's giving that attack damage converted into health, a nice 5%, as well as some acid damage and poison damage. And then it gives you an ability called Voracious Reach. I hope I pronounced that correctly, which requires a melee weapon and at 100% attack speed. But this is just basically another Eye of Reckoning ability that just does poison, and then also has a damage conversion into health. So, yeah. Next, we've got Mythical Nadal's Leg Reps right here. This is going to give some more points into Nadal's Hidden Hand and Nadal's Justable Ends with some acid and poison damage, pierce damage, all that stuff. And then a 33% chance when you're hit to cast Nadal's Revenge here, which is a 1-second skill recharge, has a 5-second duration, and it does some poison damage while reducing speed. Real good if you can reduce a target's speed, especially because then they're just not hitting you as fast, meaning you're not going to die as fast, obviously. Last piece on this list is the Mythical Stealth Jacket of the Venom Blades, the last piece to this set, which is giving obviously a lot more points into the Nightblade tree and then the Path of the Three as well. And yeah, you obviously want to run the 4-piece for this, so not a bad idea to go with this. So anyway, that's going to conclude the armor. We're going to move on over now into the Mastery skill points. All right. So first things first, you could put a lot more points here into Dual Blades if you feel like it. However, I didn't go with that. I just put 1 point into it so I can get that dual wield. And keep in mind, you could definitely put more points into it. You get a little bit more pierce damage, which you're actually going to be doing quite a bit. And this is just passively going to give you more damage. I haven't actually gone back. Whenever I started leveling, I just put a point into here. And then I aimed right away to get Nadala's Hidden Hand. Which is going to do that poison damage, acid damage, etc., which is what we're basically doing. However, since you have all that conversion, it wouldn't be a bad idea, to pick this up, especially with that physical resistance buff that you'll get from it. That actually would help out quite a bit, and I can just say it right now, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Put more points into that. We've got Nadal's Hidden Hand right here, as I mentioned already, which is going to give you some acid poison damage as a chance to slow the target, and then that piercing damage is being converted into acid damage as well, and then some poison damage over 5 seconds. Whirling Death right here. I think I only put 1 point into here because you already get quite a bit. This is just going to be a technique that procs off default attacks, etc. Does it's just an AoE around you. And then we've got Execution. This basically just does a big shoddy of damage right here. 245% main hand and offhand weapon damage, as you can see, 25 to 33 and 24 to 25,000 damage. And then we've got Amarasta's Blade Burst right here. It wouldn't be a bad idea to put more points into here, considering you have quite a bit of skill points that are benefiting or just being shot into here. However, I only put 9 points into it for the time being, and then Lethal Assault is going to increase that offensive and acid damage as well. So again, you could definitely take some more points out of something else here and put them into Amarasta's Blade Burst. However, I was just trying to make sure I got points all around here, and I didn't dedicate as many points to this. And then we've got Shadow Strike right here, which requires a melee weapon. Shadow Strike, I only put 1 point into it. It's just going to charge to an enemy. Not a big, a big deal to put too many points into here because it's just doing that piercing and cold damage, and this is just the basic ability. However, Nadal is adjustable ends right here. This is going to add some poison damage over 3 seconds, and then that increased poison damage from it, and etc. We've got Pneumatic Burst. This is going to heal you for 33% of your health, increase your total speed. It's just a buff, and you can keep it active all the time, basically. And it only has a 4-second scale recharge, so it's good to just kind of pop this all the time, or as you need health, but I would make sure to keep it active for that speed increase, as well as the Breath of Bogothian here, which is going to reduce the skill recharge on it and increase the health regeneration by 40%, but you have to be dual wielding to benefit from this. Shadow Dance right over here. This is going to give you some increased defensive ability when you activate this, and then give you a chance to avoid melee attacks and projectiles as well. We've got, excuse me, Veil the Shadow right here. This is a toggled ability. It's going to reduce offensive ability and speed to enemies around you. And then this is going to reduce Pierce, Cold, and Poison and Acid resistances to those enemies as well. So getting those, for those who don't know, reducing enemies' resistance types to your abilities is just going to increase the damage you deal to them. And especially if they have high amounts of resistance to your specific damage type, you're going to do little to no damage at all to them. We've got Anatomy for Murder right here, which is going to increase your cunning based off, that's the main reason I went for this, is a 25% increase, just flat right there. And that was the biggest reason I chose it. You also have a 33% increased damage to humans. So that'll help you out, especially if you're leveling in the beginning of the game. It's not too bad, especially when you get over towards Cronley and stuff. We've got Merciless Reportor. I can't pronounce that, I'm just going to be honest with you here. This is going to increase your acid damage, poison damage, and then some retaliation damage, and it does poison damage over 5 seconds as well. Alright, now we've got the Summon Guardian of Empyrean right here, and we converted all their damage over into acid and vitality. Only put 1 point, I believe, into them, maybe 2. I believe it was only 1. And then I went and put as many points as I could into Celestial Presence. This is going to reduce their poison and acid resistances by an additional 37%. We maxed out Path of the 3, so you can get that physical damage converted into acid buff, and then that acid and poison damage plus increased duration as well. And then we picked up Righteous Fervor right here, which is going to give you, let me make sure, yes, Drig's Reproach here, which is converting that physical and fire damage into acid and vitality damage. This is my default weapon weapon attack I use for the most part whenever I'm just filling in between abilities, or depending on the situation what I'm doing. But if you're fighting a boss or something like that, I would technically be stacking this up and then using Blade Burst and stuff like that. Then we've got Consecration right here, which is going to increase your armor by 19%. It's going to give you the elemental resistance, which you'll need because this I'm not actually capped at 80%, but once this activates I do, and then gives you that attack speed and defensive ability as well. Then we picked up Presence of Virtue right here. Presence of Virtue is just going to increase that offensive ability. It's the biggest reason I put points into here. You want to get that crit up. And then also Haven, which is going to increase your health effects by 15% chance. Or excuse me, by 15%, not chance. It's just going to increase healing effects to you by 15% and give you that health buff to keep you, above the 10k mark, if anything. And then Resilience right here, which activates when you drop below 60% health. That's going to give you plus 10% increase to your defensive ability, increase your healing effects by an additional 29%, give you some physical resistance, and then an increase to all your resistances by 4%, just a flat buff. Alright, that concludes the mastery skills, and now we're going to move into the devotions. Alright, so we're just going to go through right now the celestial powers. I just moved around Scorpion Sting right now. I'm still in the midst right now of trying to find the right place to put it. But keep that in mind. I don't know which skill I'm going to tell you to put that on right now. Whenever I update it again, I'll update the Grim Tools link below, and you can take a look at it. However, I would aim for Scorpion Sting right away. Then we've got Twin Fangs right here, which is going to give you... it shoots out these projectiles, and the biggest reason I chose this was to get that attack damage converted in over to health right there. I was aiming to get over to Abomination, I believe, and I needed some of those chaos points right over here, so I just put some points into Twin Fangs while I was leveling. This is definitely subject to change. If you'd like to change this around, you can. But I went with Twin Fangs. It does give you a little bit more attack damage converted into health. I got Ghoulish Hunger right here, which is just another ability, guys. This is just an oh crap that's going to activate whenever you get below 45% health. It's going to give you a huge attack damage converted into health, increase your attack damage and physical resistance. So it's just going to basically top you right back off and then kind of cushion you a little bit so you don't just get clapped. Then we've got Acid Spray right here. This I put onto my Guardians right here, and it's just going to, it does a very short timer. It's a 15% chance on attack, 0.8 second scale recharge to do these acid sprays that come out of the pets that I have, and then also reduce the target's resistances by 28 for 5 seconds. So that reduced resistance is a huge thing to look at. It's going to help out a ton. The biggest thing that I wanted to get with this build was Tainted Eruption. Tainted Eruption does a insane amount of damage, like you can see right there. I put this on Voracious Reach. This is just a giant poison explosion. It does 44,000 damage over 5 seconds and then confuses the targets. It's insane. You'll be able to see it whenever I'm going around doing my spins. It does a lot of damage. And then lastly, the Black Blood of Ugol. This is also another poison damaging ability that reduces acid, it does acid damage and reduces health regeneration by 100% and movement speed by 30%. And they do some pretty good damage. There's a six summon limit of these. They live for about 6 seconds, and they basically just go out to a foe and then just like attack them. They're just these little blood things. Yeah. Anyway, it's a 30% chance when hit that these things come out and then do this damage. They're real good. I actually have never really, I don't know if this was new or not, but your goals right here, I've never really tested this one out. So I really wanted to give it a shot to see how it was, and I really like it. So anyway, that concludes the Celestial Powers that I chose for this build. Now we're going to go ahead and roll out some game footage right now, and if you like it, please like, subscribe, all that stuff. I got a surgery coming up here real soon, so I'm going to try and get as many videos out as I can and all that stuff before then, or just at least have them prepped for you guys and all that stuff. So this is Destructible, and I hope you guys enjoy this footage.